So let's talk about the random chance.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Random chance in games. There is a, let's see, they're called loot box laws. Gray market gambling. Okay, it's a pay to win microtransactions that basically is a way for the gambling industry or those who would utilize the gambling industry or its tools to hook underage people. And that's really the focus. We don't need to get into politics too much, but the idea is if gambling exists and then there is a psychology behind gambling addiction, whether you believe in addictions or not, if you are abusing an addiction or an addicting act, then there are laws in place to protect people. Now, you can get around these laws by hosting outside of certain areas. Like, for example, for a long time, sports betting was illegal in many states, and now it's legal in almost every state, right? You can bet on a football game or a baseball game, or you can bet on a horse race or a dog race or whatever, right? I think in Missouri, there are still some weird laws in place, the state that I live in, and, you know, it's to protect the consumer. Most laws at their heart are to protect the consumer. There's a lot of stuff in laws that aren't really there to protect the consumer, but again, let's not get into the politics of it too much. But there are some regulations in place for games, okay? And this was a big problem, I think, with EA, with like, I think it was the FIFA? Was it FIFA? That caused the big problem. I'm not 100% sure which game it was that started the legislation, but it caused these regulations to go in place. You have to have things published. Like, you have to have all of the contents published, and generally speaking, to be on certain things, you have to have those things in place. So if you take a look at the mobile version of Hero Wars Alliance, okay, so you have boxes. You have this reward box. I can spend emeralds to get a random reward from the list, and these have published drop rates. Okay, you can see about chests. There's a 7.27% chance to get talisman coin time 100. This does not exist on Hero Wars Dominion Era, the Facebook version of the game, because Facebook Meta does not require its games to publish drop rates. They are not required to publish drop rates. You just have to publish the contents of the box. It can't just be a mystery. You can't just do mystery boxes, as they call them. You have to know what's in them, and you have to know the delineation between the good prize and the bad prize, right? You have to have a clear definition of what is the good prize. So they have the super prize section and the valuable prize. And you can see this everywhere. Like, if you go and you look in the Soul Atrium, they have it, what do they call it? Grand prizes. You click on the all rewards button, and then you have the grand prizes, the very rare, the rare, and the common. But nowhere is it published the drop rates, the rate at which you can get a grand prize. And you can say that same thing for totem fragments, for the airship, hero artifact chest grand prize, for the pet summoning egg grand prize. Facebook doesn't require you to publish those rates. The iOS App Store for Apple products and the Google Drive or the Android or whatever App Store, whatever it's called, they require you to publish those rates in order for you to have your game exist on that platform. If we went and downloaded the app outside of the iOS store, then they wouldn't have to publish the drop rates. But they use iOS, the App Store, and they use the Android App Store as a way to get free marketing, right? They have all their other marketing as well. As a defense, EA called it surprise mechanics, says Spooky Spikes. Interesting. To be honest, for many years, no sports teams were available in Las Vegas because of the fear of organized crime impacting game until the NHL implement a franchise, the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, yeah. That is true. I remember that story. So every now and then we have an activity in an unpublished rates situation in an ecosystem where we don't see the rates, the drop rate percentages of the grand prize versus the regular prizes. We have that, and then we have like the Beehive here, right? The Beehive Summer Festival with the Honey Energy, which we can talk about drop rates and bad luck protection and all of that all day long. But in the end, we're still dealing with a computer. We're still dealing with a device that is predisposed to get you to keep playing, to get you to keep spending, right? And none of this is more apparent than the emerald to gold conversion. For 20 emeralds, you can spin this wheel, and the times 100 looks like it's as big as the times 1. Sure, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 odds is what it looks like. 5 times you're going to get the times 1. 1 time you're going to get the 100, right? But that's actually not the case. The drop rate for the 100x is like 0.03 or something like that. So what'll end up happening is very often the display will appear as though, look at that. Look how close I got to that 100. Look how close I got to that 100x. Surely if I spin again, I'll get it. Surely. And almost every time, it will land next to the times 100. Almost every time. Now, the game is determining, based on a weighting system, how much you should get. And in my opinion, it is all already predetermined out pretty far. And I think they do that to save... My reasoning for that is twofold. First of all, to save space, to save computational space, right? Griff says, I've only hit the 100 one time in years. Jay Hinder has gotten the 100 once in 3 years. Yeah. The first thing is to save processing power, to save space, because all of this runs on servers and all of this, right? The other thing is to prevent script abusers from finding the right thing, the right draw, and making that happen every time, right? So in the case of the Lucky Road, you hit it, and then you tap it to skip. Look at that, 5,000. That's one of the valuable prizes, but not the super prize. I think the game is set up so that it requires me to spin the wheel, let's say hypothetically 5 times. I don't get a grand prize until I spin the wheel 5 times. DP Fitzgerald, his game, you only have to spin it 3 times. Let's see, Clinton Wallace only has to spin his wheel twice. Muhammad says game is free. Yeah. Muhammad has to spin his wheel 12 times to get that grand prize, right? And you see this with the Forgotten Treasury as well. So while gambling is a thing in this game, they're using it to great psychological effect to get us to spend more. To spend and spin more, as it were. I think it's actually worse than that. I think in games like this, where we don't see the underlying code, at least not the full picture of it, there's really no way for us to verify. There really is no way for us to verify either way. So what's to say that it's not incredibly weighted against us? And if it is incredibly weighted against us, then it's not gambling at all. It's actually designed to make us fail, which is what I believe. That's what I believe. I'm a little cynical on this. I've mentioned before, I'm an optimist, but I'm still cynical, and I think everybody should be that way. I don't think that anybody should participate in the Lucky Road. I don't think that anybody should participate in the event associated with the Lucky Road, the Elemental Synergy. Unfortunately, this is a pretty good event, or it used to be a pretty good event for new players. And when the Sears game goes live in a few days, here we go. When the Sears game goes live in, 3 days on August 3rd, I think that you all will see exactly what I'm talking about. Robert Catania, member of the chat, said that he can't finish the Sears game unless he loses 3 to 4 times, no matter what. And I don't think there will be a single person, maybe one, maybe occasionally. I mean, obviously some people have to have the good results so that the community can see that the good results can happen. I believe that the average player will have to lose on the Sears game 3 to 4 times before they can get to the end. The house always wins. That's right, Brian. There's like 2 games that have better odds than the others. or at least good enough that you should consider playing them. And that's like roulette. And by the way, I don't really condone a lifestyle choice of gambling as an income. I think gambling for entertainment is okay. Every now and then we'll go to the casino with $50 or $100, right? We spend that $100 and we're done. You know, we get our free drinks. Maybe we get some really crappy mozzarella sticks, or, you know, we step outside of the casino to one of the 4 or 5 restaurants that are right there. You know, we enjoy it. There's a really good seafood restaurant actually at the nearest casino. Really good oysters there actually. If you like oysters, I suppose. That's okay in my opinion. Like, live your life. Do entertaining things. Recreation is one thing, but addiction is another, right? And we got to protect the kids. We got to protect those people that can't help themselves. And unfortunately, we just don't know how bad the rates are. We don't know what the odds of winning are, right? With all the revamped events costing so much more, are they trying to drive new players away? No, Phil Fitton, they're actually getting more players added in than ever before, because imagine a world where there's one event a week and that event is bad. If there's one event per week and that event is bad, then you're losing the attention. They're going to go on to something else. So that's why they do more. I think that they're attracting more new players by having more events than losing new players by having more events. That's my opinion. I have no fact on that. I have no empirical data. Nothing. On mobile, I've only been able to make it to the end of the skin one time without buying extra Sears orbs for cash. Oof. Only gamble what you can afford to lose. Yep. If you want the grand prize, expect to pay. I don't like the lottery play, but converting emeralds for gold have better value for upgrades. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. To be honest, when you go to a casino, got there with the information on how much money you're ready to lose. If it's none, yeah, you know, you go and you have fun with your friends. You don't go like by yourself because you need to make rent, right? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.